Good morning. Weekend recap. Recap of the week. Anything provided in this video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm a random guy on YouTube talking about trading. I am not a financial advisor, and nothing I say or do in my videos should be construed to be financial advice of any kind. The majority of traders lose money trading. Trading is a very risky thing to do, and you are very likely to lose your money, whether you listen to my videos or not. Getting that out of the way. Alright, so did okay for the week. As you can see, I'm up a very small amount on this Top Step prop account. The combine. It's going to take me a very long time to get to $3,000 at this rate, which is fine. And I think I'm more focused on what are the biggest mistakes that I'm making. So we'll get right into it. So yesterday was interesting. Right at the open, price was trying to determine which direction it was going to go, and after a couple of rejections, it was pretty clear that putting a stop below the low in case it just continued downward was the thing to do, and that's what I did. The crummy part of that is that I really expected it to bounce here and go higher. I should have stayed in this trade, obviously. So I'm in the process this weekend. I'm going to be looking for some tools. I have to find a way to confirm market sentiment. I mean, it's true. If you looked at the VIX was in a bit of a breakout. Let me see if I can pull that up. This is Ethereum. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the VIX, there was a bit of a breakout. What bar was this? This was 845. 835. So yeah, it wasn't until it actually broke down. So it's tough to know, whether you should stay in something or not. But I think just holding and waiting for a bar that breaks the previous bar's high would be wise here. So next time, I would have caught this whole move if I had waited that long. It waited like that. As you can see, none of these broke the previous bar's high until down here. So that seems to be really the biggest problem I have is, too many trades. First of all, many trades. It's ridiculous. I'm not even sure. Let's see if I can turn this on. You can see this. It's all over the place. So too much scalping and missing all the big moves, and that's pretty much making all the difference when it comes to catching anything at all. And granted, some of these moves are catchable. Maybe, like maybe this down here, although I don't like this entry, and that doesn't give you any room. I did catch this one here, this top, bear flag double top here, and this L2. So this is like the second time right here. So basically, I shorted it right as it broke under and caught that bar, but again didn't hold it long enough. I could have squeezed a little bit more out of it. I think I was hoping that the market was going to either continue or that it was going to rebound all the way up again. I was really hoping for a big move, and it didn't do that. And I think part of the reason it didn't do that is it's Friday before holiday. And so I don't think it makes sense on Friday before a holiday to assume that market players are going to not be leaving early and that the market isn't just going to go sideways from there, because that's what it did. It just went sideways. I can remember getting long in here thinking that, hey, this might be some sort of an upward channel. We might be getting the last hour, some sort of a channel or a small pullback bull trend or something, it was going to go up into here. And of course, didn't want to do that. It couldn't get above this without rejection, and you can see it just, I was out well before price got wild in here. So yeah, so that's the biggest thing, I think, is the expectations. What is the market really doing? Reading the market better, but really just holding on to the winning trades longer. Because in here I probably was just break even, because there's enough. There are some signals in here. Like here, like I said, I was getting long here, but it didn't go far enough for you to get anything out of it. So, being break even in all of here, no matter what you do, is probably a given, unless you're a better trader than I am, and you can go in with limit orders or something, like possibly somebody putting a limit order at this spot and getting out in there, assuming a range. I don't know. I'm not that good yet. So, but this whole move here, catching that, the bulk of that would have made the whole day. So I got a lot to think about, a lot to practice. I think for next week, that's going to be, like I said, the biggest thing really is just holding on to those winners longer, and being able to read the market better. I need to find something. Like I said, I need to find a way of confirming this. So I trade pretty much based on Al Brooks methods, with one exception, is that I do use relative volume, because I think it's foolish not to use volume. There's many cases where it gives you obvious signals. Like an example is up here, where you get to this potential double top bear flag situation, where it's gonna make a top with this turn here, and you see this bar that's an outside bar closes below the previous bar, and look at the volume. You can see there's almost twice as much volume as the bar that looked like it was trying to creep higher, and then it just got denied. And I do think that means something. I think if you look closely at these charts, you'll see that when price is swinging and pivoting, that oftentimes the volume of the two bars in a 2 or a 3 bar pattern relative to each other makes a difference. Like here, same thing. It goes down to the bottom, and it has a false breakdown, and then it comes back up, and you look at this volume was just higher. And then oftentimes what happens is the market hasn't decided that it's going to go higher, and a lot of the participants think it's going to go lower. Like here, in fact, I think I got suckered in by this too, where you think it's going to actually start ranging and then going down, and instead it breaks up higher, and you can see as it does break higher that the volume increases. Again, you get one of these things, and then at the very top it sort of peaks out, and then and it's not clear always, and that's the thing about all of this stuff, is you're never going to get a clear picture. But I do think volume is a valid data point, and I think it's important to use it if it seems to be telling you something. So just like everything else on this chart, and I'm looking for more data points. I do think, like I said, that there are other things you can look at. I noticed, for example, that Ethereum, because I was just watching it in a different place, Ethereum, here's the beginning of the day yesterday. Ethereum was leading the market by, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes or something, which is very strange. So at the market open yesterday, Ethereum was actually leading the S&P. Now that could have been something that I noticed that wasn't real. It might not be a real correlation at all. I did notice that throughout the day it started to catch up, and it sort of got in tune to the S&P, and then later it got completely out of tune, where it was going a different direction than the S&P. So I don't, like I said, this could be totally random, but I'm going to watch this again maybe. But I am looking for other things. other methods to confirm directionality of the market. I do know that, people have used things like VIX in the past. I am aware of the Dow tick indicator from long ago. I remember people used to use that, but I'm looking for something a little bit more useful. I think the market as a whole moves. It's like a risk on, risk off situation, maybe. I'm not sure. So it could very well be that maybe bonds are the things to look at. I'm not sure about that. If assuming that assuming that the moves that we're getting aren't people actually pulling their money out of the U.S., which is a good probability right now, but you could see rotation between stocks and bonds, and that could be something to use as a confirming indicator as well. So I'll be looking around for that this weekend a little bit because more data is better. It helps when you see stuff like this and you're a little bit confused and you think, well, wait a second, are we going down just to bounce here, or are we going down to cruise through it? And having some other indication, something of like where the money is moving in the market, I think would be helpful in situations like that, just for confidence and to know that you really should stay in a trade. So I'll be looking at that. We'll see what happens. All right. So overall for the week, this is the first week I've been trading futures at all. And just so everybody is aware, this is a Top Step combine. So this isn't actual trading. This is technically paper trading, where if you can make enough at it, they will give you you still have to pay it. But if you can make enough at it, then you get the opportunity for a live, not a live, it's a funded account that actually will pay you back at that point. And there's a whole bunch of rules and other things, and hopefully we'll get into that later when I do pass this, so that you can see what that looks like. I don't know how soon that's going to be. I'm probably going to start trading with 5 normally. Although if I'm unsure of things, I might trade again with 1. If I just want to take a flyer on something, like I did here at the market open. I just wasn't really that sure, so I was only in 1 contract here. But whereas down in here, most of these swings I was in with 5. Not that I was more sure down in here. Just for whatever reason at the beginning of the market, I'm a little bit hesitant to guess on directionality because it has a tendency to reverse. So. So let's look at the stats for the week. You can see I'm really not doing that well overall. This doesn't feel representative to me. I'm not sure because I'm catching all the moves, so I don't know. It's kind of strange. And you can see my win-loss ratio is way out of whack. So I'm just barely profitable at this point. This was a little better before I lost another $50 at the end of the day yesterday. But here's what it looks like. 3 greens, 2 reds, real small numbers, which is fine. My plan is to improve this next week simply by holding on to winning trades longer. That should really make a big difference. And if I can find some more confirmation indicators this weekend, that'll help. And maybe take fewer trades. As you can see, I'm taking a ridiculous number of trades, and I need to figure out how to what am I going to wait for, So we'll see how that goes, and I will talk to you then. Thanks.